Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my new and old friends. Welcome. Let's talk about some alchemy, some spiritual alchemy. I'm Cindy Carter. I'm an intuitive, an artist, an energy healer, and a spirit consultant. This series of alchemy podcasts that I have on Sundays are my gift to you. I'm just bringing new ideas for transmuting the energy within you with compassion. You're the one in charge of your life, so I'm just helping you remember your divinity. So the last podcast, it kind of stirred up some people. It was titled Discerning Eyes, Seeing Through the Bullshit. Yes, I titled it that. Yes, I typed that. And I even made a graphic for it. I was quite proud of my non-censorship. Since I'm my own boss, I get to do what I want. And I didn't mean any harm by it. But there is bullshit, a lot of bullshit in the world, and we're now learning that there is so much of it that we need to be discerning. A lot of atrocities are coming out of the limelight. Or into the limelight, I guess. I don't know. It's a nice kind of exploration into the idea that discernment and awareness are the keys to seeing through this bull. It really is. There's no attainment to strive for to have this kind of awareness. There's no higher dimension to reach to get this kind of awareness, to have these discerning eyes. There's no guru to be your gatekeeper. You're the gatekeeper of your own progress. You're the alchemist. So we talked about how to discern and how to hear the proper voice within you. I mean, there is a lot to alchemy. It's micro and macro. It's the all. And it can be a lot of information, but really it's so simple. Come back to the Christ consciousness. Only rely on the ingredients of you that are based in sacred channels of light, not outside you, as so-called channels of light. This would be the sacred elements within you, within your body and your mind that make up the peace and joy and freedom and reverence for life. You know, those God source particles, that kind of thing. But by becoming the observer of your life, that's how you get to be in awareness. By becoming the observer, not being the one emotionally charged, but, coming out to a higher view, accessing a higher version of you in your awareness. I talked a lot about how to become the observer. There got to be at least a couple of podcasts on how to become the observer of your life. I welcome you to go back and listen to some of them. We do know that we are heightened in our discord right now. We're at a heightened time of excess bullshit, of excess sensitivities that make every word and every action a potential nightmare for someone else's mind or their emotional body. We have to be very discerning, very careful, very compassionate. It's like a minefield out there of emotions and darkness. My idea is that we are the responsibility in this. My idea is that we are the responsible party in this life. And we must be the ones to discern from our heart. Not from our analytical mind, not from our logic, and not from our linear thinking, but the quantum aspects of ourself that want to discern the entire past, present, future timeline of ourself. It's a lot to discern. It's a lot to be aware of. It is a lot to trust. Because there is an innate alignment, an innate discernment, an ever-present idea of you. That's the God source. It runs through every portion of you if you allow it. Open up the methylation of your cells. Let's move on through. Let's quiet that mind so you can hear. quiet the actions so you can feel. You might just revisit that podcast, about discerning eyes, the very last one I had. But this week I thought I would title this one Spiritual Reset, because that's where we're going. That's where we are. We are in a heightened discord to bring us to a new idea. So why don't we do it ourselves instead of being forced into an idea? When you make it your own idea and you become the alchemist of this idea, then you become the creator of the dimensions and fields around you. It's quite empowering to become the alchemist. And when you decide to be the reset of your spirituality, the reset of your mind, body, emotional body, this is like all-encompassing the spiritual nature of you as a body, as an emotion, as a mental mind. Those things need to be reset now. It might be a perfect time to do this flip, a new beginning, a new way. It's like a reevaluation, if you will, of your beliefs and your ideas. It's kind of like observing a time objectively of your entire lifespan and evaluate, not through your mind, but through the self-loving actions of your heart space to say, it's time for a reset. It's time to reset the emotional body, mental body, so that I can come into spiritual alignment. This is spiritual reset. Some of the ideas and beliefs I may have held or may have been, gifted as an idea from someone else that are not truth for me, I'd like to unearth those. I'd like to see my darkness. I would like to rectify and reframe and rewire this idea known as me. Spiritual reset. I do believe it's time for a universal spiritual reset. Every dimension needs to come into a wholeness. The deception is becoming clear on every dimension. Well, not to everyone, but to a lot of people. And the effects of this will even occur for the people unknowing. It will affect them. So the peace will affect people. The darkness will affect people. So how will you choose to be the alchemist during a spiritual reset? Through some self-loving space, I hope. But this earth must reset. And I'm not talking about climate change. That's a hoax. There is change on a planet, of course. We're in a cyclical nature, a repeat pattern. The repeat pattern will happen over and over and over until the consciousness of the earth and the consciousness of the humans changes the trajectory of the earth, which we are doing now. We're in a reset. We're in a time of resurrection. Sounds important, doesn't it? We are in a time of reconcile. When you reconcile your past, you resurrect the future. When you deal with your past, instead of deny your past and look at it through loving, personal activities of choice, this is resurrection. This is reset. It's not really dictated by another person to you, but directed by you. Even if you have assistance, in your spiritual or emotional process by others, this is your reset. Even though the universe is sending, cosmic waves and solar rays that are bringing us to this reset, the high frequencies, the Schumann resonance off the chart. Thank you, Candace, for showing us that one. But this is your new life choice. This choice is finally yours to witness and see for yourself. Like, finally, you don't have to wait for someone to tell you. Because it's like right here, you're feeling it. Okay, we have work to do. You're right here. It's time to tell yourself, guide and direct yourself, even with help from others. But you being the final authority, the final guide of the direction, digging down deep to find the heart space, not the mindset. Everyone's in their mind right now. That's why this is going a little bit wonky. But the final authority is you in your starseed direction. Your higher self is certainly with you in energy, in frequency, and consciousness. So you're not truly alone here. This is my point. Observing from an accumulated awareness. This is what I'm talking about. Higher self energy in a body continually, not as a little channeled creation of higher fours and thous and thises. That's how it started with me. But I'm talking about embodiment. So that you're not truly alone in your body, that you have an understanding of yourself as multidimensional. Past, present, future, gather it all up. This is an accumulated wisdom and bring it right here into this body. It seems like huge work, doesn't it? It's not as much work as you think. It's not like you have to train for a marathon, but you do have to have the willingness to be a runner. The want to feel the road under your feet, the awareness that you can do this activity. So it's not so much training the muscles and the tendons, but the mind and the emotional body. They do have to come into some kind of agreement with each other, though. The physical body, the emotional body, the mind. Like, this is an activity that could benefit the body. But like my body, it would kill me. Like for me personally right now, a marathon, I'm just telling you, I have a sports injury riddled up body. I walk sometimes like a old 80-year-old linebacker from a former football team. But that doesn't stop me from the willingness to feel the freedom of a short run or a long walk or a hike if my knee will let me. Or the consciousness of preparation on my side. Gifting myself goodness, gifting myself all the ingredients to make a confident choice with my body. I don't have doubts. I have limitations. But I come through those limitations squeaky clean because I have self-love for my body now, whereas before I didn't. I plowed through everything, but we have to prepare for change. This is about self-love. This is about spiritual reset into the self-love. Just being in an open heart space and allowing huge expansion of your once limited timeline. Having the willingness to move through life, not knowing exactly what's going to present itself. What may come to you or what may come from you. This is a heart space of willingness, allowance, and trust. These are things that have to happen. No one has to gift those to you. You have to realize them in your life. Remember them. Because that's what's happening. You're remembering out of your cells. I'm a cellular master. I understand the cellular body. This is a spiritual reset. It's for your clarity. It's for your awareness of what's exactly happening around you that affects you. So you can now see the hidden things. The unknown aspects of life that come at you and seem to take us out sometimes. Well, not when you can learn to reset. Learn to have a more open and expansive spiritual view of life. When you reset how your eyes see and how your brain calculates and how your heart operates, you'll then see your ability to be more willing and more able to embody the strength of solid awareness. Awareness needs to be a solid fixture. Seeing from the base, the core of you, these are the discerning eyes that can see through the all. The all. Yikes, yes, all. We are part of the all, and that is pretty scary to some people. It's partly our issue that we need to see our sovereignty within the all so we can reset it all, flip it for our way of thinking and acting, flip it from our insecurities and injustices and intolerances back into a wholeness of our understanding and remembrance of who we are. That we're already whole, we're already ever present, and we need to act like it and remember it. So when we reset, it's like we're activating that in the lifespan, in the timeline. So I was talking to one of my mentor clients this week, and we got on a topic of how do you trust what you see? I mean, what you witness and how to discern it. This is part of the process of spiritual resetting. How to trust. So I took her through this idea. It's really kind of like a vision that comes to me when I'm looking at the all. Like you're a part of the all. That is so vague for so many people. What does the all mean? Well, I'm going to tell you, like, this is how I see the all of myself. The all dimensions, the all frequencies, the quantum soup of me, the matrix is included in that. I do live in the matrix, but I have walked away from it, the influence of it. But I do see my life, my cumulative life, like I'm on a conveyor belt, like a little walkway. No, seriously, go with me on this vision. So this is how the vision comes to me. And you know how you go to the aquarium and you have that tunnel that you walk through where all the fish and the hammerhead sharks and the stingrays swim right over your head? You can see them on the left, you see them on the right. Well, just imagine that. So there you are on this walkway. And this walkway represents like your timeline, past, present, and future. The past is behind you, the future is ahead of you, you're standing in the present. So the walkway starts moving, and slowly you begin to see images come up on these plasma screen walls on the left and the right and above you. These are not, it's not the aquarium stuff, it's your stuff. It's images of your life, of your past lives, of your current lives, of future lives, and all the mental, emotional minutia that goes with that. Just imagine the scenes on the walls and above you. I mean, it's flipping people and places and emotions and things. Oh, my Lord. They're showing you your tendencies, your emotional outbursts, your kindness, your loving reverence, all of it. It's certainly like a life review and a life futuring, because you're standing in the present. You haven't seen what's coming up, but there's something there. You got to trust the tunnel. This is like the tunnel of the hologram. It's not tunnel vision. It's viewing the all. Now, what I notice is that the middle place here, where the walkway is, the energy there is nice and calm. Even though I might be viewing some really ugly scene of my past life, it's really calm. But the frequency and energy that's on both sides of the tunnel are really rather extreme. So I see it like this, because we are dark and light energy, and I see it as like a spectrum of light, white to dark, and all the grays in between. Dark and light is represented right here in this frequency band of this tunnel, where you're looking at everything of your life. You're both, so you look at the right side, everything's really kind of extreme. Everything shows up, your ugly lives, your ugly emotions, your ugly tendencies. Whew. So there are darker light and sound combinations that don't feel so good. They have denial and depression and self-loathing, and they're kind of like on the left-hand side of this tunnel. I see them and feel them. That's the darker spectrum of light bands. They live in frequency bands that are farther to the left side of this tunnel. So, most people are like, yikes, I'm not even going to look at that. But I'll look at it. It's not going to touch me because I'm in this calm, clear space where I don't have any electrical charges coming to and from the past information or the current information. It's just there. Wow, that's kind of like called discerning eyes, the way to see something objectively. And on the right-hand side, I see the best and the brightest and the wisdom and the knowledge as sacred light and sound, like all versions of you. Remember, the air is like really sweet there. It's like intoxicating. It's like cosmic, angelic light, the whispers and tunes of harps. It's the knowing of deep soul work. I feel I could leave my body there, that I'm not my body. When I feel into the right side of this place where the white light is finer vibrations of my being, I find it hard to breathe here. In this air and space, it's a bit too much love vibration for this body and this soul on earth at this time. It feels like if I stayed over there, I would be in delusion, in denial of my darker aspects. I wouldn't even see them or know them. And we know what happens there. Your body goes into revolt. I witness it all the time. But this is pretty much what New Age philosophy is doing to people, sucking us over to the white light or sucking us over to the dark light. It's manipulation. We can philosophize for ourselves as alchemists because this tunnel represents all of me, all of the universal all. So as the alchemist and the observer and the director of this life, I get to decide what I would like, what direction I'll lean to, what path I'm going to take, if I want to back up or go forward. So this middle road, once I understand it, it's the body's neutral. It's the mind's neutral. It's the place of discernment. It's the place to make observation without the emotional charge. As long as you stay on the path of your heart, staying open and free, you stay on this middle road. The sharks and the hammerheads and the cute puffer fish are there. All the versions of you are there. You're now able to see and witness and pull on the information from that experience. But this is you experiencing yourself within the hologram. Shazam! You within the hologram. This is clear sight. Clean and clear choices. Emotional body without disruption. Mind without the obsessive thoughts. This is the middle road. This is the neutral that the body and the mind has been waiting for. When the heart is the battery that you allow to connect to the rest of your Merkaba, your body stream, your housing. When you allow the golden light around you to be touched by all of you. This is the golden light within you and of you and around you. This is not touching against the hologram walls. This is you touching against your neutral, your battery, your heart space. This will influence your past lives and your current thought patterns. This is how you'll witness, not lament, your life. How you'll view and not be in hatred of what you see. Through seeing with a loving kindness, through awareness to see the all. Witness the all of yourself in this tunnel so that you can retain your spiritual energy. Your God source activation is still within you, and allow yourself to flourish and shine and be your accumulation of energy and souls and lifetimes without the negative influences of the tunnel walls, the extremes of light and dark that don't help us at times. We can have touches of these, and we will continue to have touches of these. How do they help you? How do they hurt you? How do you see them? It could be, seaweed of doubt, sea urchins wanting your constant attention. But this is about you within the all. Can you witness the all of the hologram? Of the hologram earth, past, present, and future, and witness yourself within it for a moment? and see that you are not just your past lives and the trauma of those lives, that you're not the story of those lives, but you're the accumulation of consciousness that does have darkness within you. What about the darkness within you? My client did ask me how to see the darkness in others and yourself. Are we to avoid it? Are we to release it? What are we to do when we find it? Rip it out. What are we to do? It's a lot of spiritual practice that people do this releasement. They just release out into the ethers this negative energy, all these attachments and threads and consciousness. And I'm going to say thanks, but no thanks. Why litter an archon stream with the consciousness, of negativity and throw it around Earth? We don't need any more hate and demise. Those energies need to be dealt with differently. So it's not the energy that's present, it's your reframing of it. You got to reframe all this within the tunnel, within the body, within the Merkaba, within the mind, instead of a sign on them that says dark, scary stuff, don't touch it. How about explore with caution the dark of yourself and find a new way to view and observe it? Giving it lesser importance is often the way to diffuse the energy. The battery of the heart can diffuse negative, energy in no time. When self-love is involved, when compassion for yourself is involved. Would loving myself allow me to make myself the victim of the person that just berated me, say? Heck no. I would give lesser importance to the berating by this person. Sometimes that comes out like, in my mind, a vision. If someone's saying some really berating kind of thing and I'm seeing their hurt and their trauma from their past lives while they're saying it, so it's not really, affecting me so much. I might get mad in a few minutes, but right now it's not really affecting me. Sometimes I see it as cartoon language coming out of them. Like the big, cartoon wheel, bubble that says what they're saying. Or a squeaky mouse voice instead of some kind of hurtful thing. I mean, it's up to us to interpret this stuff. We're the alchemists. We're here to witness in a way that does not harm our being. We're here to be good stewards of the spirit that we're riding around with in these bodies. It's really a good idea right now to be good stewards. So we need to look at our life within this light-filled tunnel of the all, the dark and the light. We can't admonish the dark. That's not compassionate. We must reconcile within us our darkness so that we're not triggered by every thought or action of somebody else. This is the point. It's time to go inward. That's the spiritual reset. A time to infuse your life into the frequency and vibration that is uplifting. Look at your dark thoughts and your dark ideas and your dark emotional triggers for what they are. They're avenues of awareness within this tunnel of the all of yourself. The tunnel of the sea life fun place. Standing in neutral still allows your body and mind to express bliss and express joy or grief or sadness. But being able to see yourself amongst these emotions and these avenues that got you to the emotions in a neutral, non-biased way is how to do this spiritual reset. Reset how you feel about yourself, about this lifetime, about the strife you see around you. There is oneness to be had here. There is a loving embrace by future versions of you that wish for you to do the spiritual reset. Coming back into wholeness with this Christ consciousness, reverence for life. You are not the things you see around you. You're the consciousness of compassion within the lives that you've led. So let's reset by Resetting your willingness. Are you willing to change? Is that an ability to change? And what about your need to change? We aren't talking about perfection here. This is an empty avenue. What we're talking about here is the ability to flip or change how you respond, how you react, knowing you're not the emotions of this thing or the darkness of the doubt. Resetting takes a trust for a universal plan, a divine plan, and your alignment with that plan. Could you just go ahead and trust yourself within this alignment? That's all it requires is trust. Trust what you feel if it comes from the heart and not the mind. So being responsible for the resetting and your timing and your process, not allowing yourself to be the victim of the timing or astrology or other humans' timing or other humans' processes. This is your process of ultimate awareness of the all, of the shining sacred light that comes through this tunnel. Every version of you, every ray of light, seeing all of what you are and all of what you were and all of what you are to be, all in one place. It's a place of discernment and allowance. Spiritual resetting can be done with a lot of allowance, or none, in fact. You could be allowing yourself to use a couple of tools. I have a tool called the Template of Grace. It's a meditation series that accelerates your timing for your spiritual reset, whatever you want to call it. But it is 11 days of the most grace-filled, sound-filled, inspirational words that bring you slowly and quantumly into this energy of grace, into the allowance, understanding, and activation of grace. Some people have never felt grace before this series. You can find this on my website. I also have a mentor program where I work with you each week over a Zoom video call. It's powerful alchemy to work together to reframe the life that you're leading and that you've created for yourself. It's proven to be really transformative for quite a few people. I do have a couple of spaces left. I can only work with a few people at a time. So contact me by email or by my website. So if you just need to reframe a simple piece in your life and you don't need to work with somebody weekly, or you just have a question for me about how you can activate compassion or something specific in your life, I do consulting calls to help you rewire your thoughts and your ideas. So just look on my website for the consult. I do believe it is time, it's a perfect time to undo the darkness that has affected us worldwide, universal-wide. And it's affected us, and we could unwind our affiliations to existing limiting constructs and announce the freedom to our body and our minds that we are peace, that we are joy, and we are love, and that we're willing and able to trust a sovereign plan of a universe to come into our own alchemy of sovereign expression for the all of all our life. A spiritual reset deep within us will affect the all. So happy resetting. Many blessings.